crazy.
Wait, I'm so excited we're making it again. Make it drink.
Sorry.
Nothing.
Do you want to go down the stairs so you're ready?
Oh my God.
We just go through. Wait, do we go now?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to limp. I can't hear it. Where is it? Oh my God! Wait, this is crazy! Oh my God! Stop. This is crazy. I don't know. Is this on? Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming in the rain and everything. This is so crazy. I'm so happy to be here. This is my friend Natalie.
Hi, everybody.
She's going to be co-hosting.
Testing.
There we go.
It's working.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm going to kick off today's book talk with a little cocktail. We are making the Honeydew Spritz from the beverage section, and it's fitting because it's inspired by the famous New York City US Open cocktail, the Honeydeuce, of course. And it's the start of spritz season, so why not? So I'm gonna whip these up for me and Natalie, and she can get the ball rolling.
This might be the first.
I'm gonna have to hold this between.
This might be the first melon vodka beverage consumed inside of a church. We are all about making history on this tour, so who knows what's in store. Hello, everybody. This is such an incredible sight. Make some noise for Meredith. We're so excited to talk about the book, talk about the stories behind the book, maybe do a little bit of trivia here and there. But first and foremost, we do need a beverage. So I'm very excited to see what kind of green goo is going in this.
I spilled some green goo on my hand. So we got the Grey Goose pear flavored vodka, my favorite flavor of vodka. Not sponsored, but if you want to tag them and bully them into sponsoring something, that would be fantastic because they've not been super cooperative. And then in here, that's going to be mine. Don't worry. We have blended honeydew and cucumber and a little lime juice. No worries.
2 shots of vodka.
No worries. Oh, I forgot the sparkling water. Oh, well. It's back there. Oh, Maddie's getting it.
Now, Meredith, tell me more about like your favorite cocktail situations. What do you lean towards? And do you think that certain times of the year should only have certain types of beverages?
Woo! Thanks, Maddie.
Maddie!
Okay, that's a great question. Sorry, I'm leaning over. I gravitate towards like a fruit-forward vodka moment, so this is kind of perfect for that. I do get sad when the winter rolls around and like spritzes aren't really the norm for ordering, and I wish we could just like go against the grain and throw caution to the wind and order a spritz in December, but unfortunately it just doesn't hit the same unless I recently started spritzing on the slopes. However, that is kind of what indirectly caused the whole knee thing. So I don't recommend it necessarily, but they are quite refreshing. You're a spritz girly.
I'm a spritz girly. Lately, they've been giving me stomach aches. I don't know what that's about.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for this
But
one.
I do love being here in this beautiful city. And the second, probably it's 63 degrees and up, the city is just dappled with orange.
So true.
And I really think that that's the magic of a spritz.
Wait,
wow,
these look gorgeous.
This is gorgeous.
Kind of freaking out.
Yeah, she's good at this.
Yeah, you just plop some honeydew and cucumber in a blender with some honey, blitz it up, and it just makes like a really refreshing, summery. I feel like I'm torturing everyone because it's a little toasty in here. Sorry. It's the perfect, like, refreshing summer cocktail, and it's also just like adorable. I think honeydew, you know, I love her, but she's not always super as sweet as we would want her. So this is lightly sweetened with some honey, and there she is.
Oh,
cheers.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, it's a big girl. Okay, cheers, everybody.
Cheers!
Oh boy.
That's good. Can the live stream, can you hear that?
Yeah, we get the ASMR.
All right, now there's so many fun stories behind the recipes in this beautiful book. You guys all have a copy. I'd love to know, are there any specific recipes that are a bit of an ode to this beautiful city that have ties to New York?
Yes, this is the only city stop that will be doing this. So there are a ton of recipes in the book that are inspired by restaurant dishes that I've had in the city, restaurant dishes that I've made in the city. So I thought we would do a quick little run through so you guys can honestly go home and order these dishes on whatever delivery app you use. The crab fried rice recipe and the cow soy recipe are both inspired by Uncle Boone's, that is now Thai Diner. I lived down the street from there on Spring Street back in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. And that was the apartment that I was living in when I made the Wishbone Kitchen Instagram account, which is kind of crazy. I used to like hang over the fire escape and take my food photos, and I used to host like live cooking shows from that apartment. The entire kitchen was probably like the distance between our chairs. There was probably 20 people on that live stream, and half of them were related to me. And I used to go to Uncle Boone's all the time. It was impossible to get in, but I was 2 doors down, so my roommate and I would put our names down, go back to our apartment, make a spritz, and then get the text, be like, your table's ready. And we just loved it. It was my first time having like real Thai food and beyond like a pad Thai. And that restaurant is just like so special to me, RIP, but you can still get it at Thai Diner. And that again is the crab fried rice and the cow soy. And then the US Open inspired spritzes we have. And then we also have a farro salad in there. I used to work at Charlie Bird, and I've made way too many farro salads than I would like, but people love it. And I put my own little spin on it by doing roasted broccoli and parm and basil and cherry tomatoes. And the whole thing with the Charlie Bird farro salad is that it rotates with the season. So depending on what month you go into the restaurant, it's like got different bits and bobbles in there. Is there anything else? There's definitely something else, but I can't remember.
Anything tomatoey, anything?
Yeah. It'll come to me.
It'll come to you. What's your honeydew's cap? I had my first this past
I had my first this past. Okay, you guys, I thought everyone was like being dramatic about the honeydews. They're actually so good. Like this one. I posted a video. This restaurant in Greenpoint used to make a cabbage and herb salad like this, and they took it off the menu. But now we have the recipe, Diondi in Greenpoint.
And with the power of this crowd, we can probably also get it back.
We could probably petition if we all sign something. What's my limit on honeydews? Oh my God, they kind of like get you a little bit kooky like right away.
85 degrees.
Yeah, because
like
you're sweaty.
Internal body temperature rising.
And they taste like juice.
They taste like something, yeah.
It's raspberry chambord.
Yeah.
Grey Goose, and lemonade.
What's
And
not
it
to love?
sounds like it would taste like vodka, but it's so good. Oh, I stole this recipe from like a random restaurant I went to in like Brooklyn somewhere.
We love inspiration.
It was ricotta with like crispy stuff on top, and I was like, love that. I can't give them credit. I don't remember who it was. Sorry.
Anything with crispy stuff on top, we love. Now, I feel like a lot of people probably will be like, oh, Meredith, what's like your favorite recipe from the book? Which is like, you can't pick a favorite child. But I do want to ask you like what you would make for super specific situations. So let's say you're confronting someone who's wronged you.
Oh, totally. No, that's a really good point.
What are we serving?
Okay, wait. I feel like I would want to make something really spicy and like really throw them off their game. The oysters with yuzu kosho mignonette. If you up the yuzu kosho, you could really get them in the nose, like a nasally sort of like wasabi moment. You could also just like put
we need subtext of like, if you need to send a message.
Yeah. Or okay, wait. The tomato butter baked cod. You could like make the tomato part really spicy. I'm just thinking about spice.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
No, because they have to leave and be like, damn, she's
and then
cooking.
we could throw the tomatoes on their shirt and then like stain it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, next scenario. Say someone super fancy moves into you in the Hamptons next door.
Ooh.
What are you bringing them over to say hi, neighbor?
Oh, I know. Done. Wait. Also, oh my God, Poppy.
Oh.
She's skiing with the cake. Okay. With the baguette under her arm. I didn't even realize. I think I would probably either do the classic tomato galette. It depends on like who it is, because the tomato galette, you kind of have to like finish it and then eat it right away. But then if not, the olive oil cake with fruit on top. I developed this recipe to withstand sitting in the sun longer than your average icing cake situation. So if I was dropping it off to somewhere where I didn't know what their day was looking like, I didn't know what was on their schedule, and I was like, here's a cake, you can eat it whenever. Because usually I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to eat this right now. I would do this cake. It's also like so cute.
Let me see. Everyone, you can turn to page 252 to see the cake.
Yeah, everybody, if you want to turn to 252. Oh, and I thought of another recipe that's inspired by a dish. Ooh. But of course, now that I'm announcing it, I like kind of forgot. The yuzu kosho mignonette, I was introduced to yuzu kosho while I was working at Charlie Bird, and they inspired that recipe. Damn, there was another one. Oh, right. Calabrian tuna tartare toast on page 43 is inspired by the tuna toast at Dame in Williamsburg. Love that place.
Speaking of tuna, I actually recently discovered that you're not a huge fan of tinned fishes.
No, I feel like all the cool chef girlies like love a tinned fish. And I didn't grow up eating canned tuna. And it's just like the smell of canned tuna salad, like really,
I'll be sure not to bring that on tour.
Yeah, no.
You're like, it's going great, but she's only eating
tuna melt. I like really love the vibes of a tinned fish, but I like a sardine every now and then, but.
No, totally. I say this all with like
overall.
open arms and like an open heart and mind.
Open mind.
Yeah, open mind. Okay, well, a few other things. You know, we kind of kicked off quickly, but I do want to know, what is your sun, moon, and rising sign?
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so excited. Wait, I have that shirt. Yes! Oh my God, butter yellow!
Oh yeah, wait.
Sorry,
Butter
we're
yellow
looking at everyone's outfits.
Raise your hand if you're wearing butter yellow.
No, it's okay, you don't have to. Extra credit. Sun, moon, and rising. Capricorn sun, Sagittarius moon, Taurus rising.
That is actually a very fabulous trio. Capricorns in the house?
My people.
Yes. It's okay, you guys can be proud to be
I
them.
know.
I feel like there's more of you. Okay, I think that's just a really good way to kind of start off, learn more about
what's
someone.
yours?
I'm a Capricorn.
Right.
Sun, Capricorn, moon, Aries rising. So.
Love. Okay, I'll tell a little bit about our signs for those who aren't as privy to the astrological signs. My parents are in the audience. They don't know what's going on.
We're on it.
Capricorns are very stubborn and career motivated. Sagittariuses are fiery and like volatile sometimes.
I think they're fun. I think people call they're like fun. Yeah.
Oh,
Which can
and
have
then
volatility.
Taurus like nice expensive things, and then
Yes.
I don't know, Aries
And
is,
the outdoors.
and the outdoors, and
Mhm.
Aries are also fiery.
Aries, yeah.
Wait,
there's-
we're both earth and fire.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa. Okay, well that's great news. Imagine we had like the most incompatible zodiac
That would not
lineup, and
be-
I'm like,
I'm so scared.
this is gonna be a rough one.
Mhm.
Okay, fabulous. Well, now I know what to be looking out for if there's an olive oil cake on someone's doorstep out east.
Wait, I used to sell those. Oh my God, fun fact, when I was a private chef, remember when Omicron was a thing? So annoying.
Oh.
All of my events got canceled and I needed to make money. And so I sold olive oil cakes out of my parents' house for Mother's Day. And I got on Amazon like pink cake boxes and I printed out stickers. And I would sit on my front steps and wait for people to come and pick them up. But yeah.
And then
no
at
secret.
that point in your entrepreneurial adventure, was that yet Wishbone Kitchen? Like, were the stickers just?
I had the Wishbone Kitchen stickers. I think I had the Instagram account at that point, but I wasn't posting any videos on social media. It was still just like photos on Instagram.
Does anybody know the name of Wishbone Kitchen's first social series?
I had oh my gosh, yes! Courtney! Oh my God, hi, Courtney! Oh, you kind of cheated. Okay, wait. Does anybody else know if they didn't hear her? It was on Instagram stories, and at the time I had 500 followers.
And this was 2021.
21.
That is not that long ago.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Oh my God.
It was in that teensy tiny little apartment. Okay, it was called Tiny Kitchen Tuesday. And it's so funny, it was like on Instagram stories, I would post like little slides. And since I lived in this apartment with such a tiny kitchen, I would show people what I would make for dinner when my counter space in my kitchen was this big. And it would just be like following along these silly little recipes, but then also like with the lens of you can make this if you don't have a big kitchen.
When you were in those super early stages, do you have a moment where you kind of, your brain sort of lit up a bit of like, even with 500 followers, a moment where it felt like you kind of get those little inklings that you should, keep pulling at that string?
Well, I think like in culinary school, they really only prep you to become a line cook or a restaurant chef or like a hotel hospitality chef. And I never really vibed with that kind of kitchen because you're making the same thing every day and it's expected to be a certain level of excellence and you're not really prioritizing the same things you would prioritize with home cooking. And so I think like once I started private chefing, I fell in love with home cooking and the idea of like recipes that make sense in a home kitchen and make sense for people to make for themselves. And I've always wanted to be able to share food with as many people as possible. So I've always wanted to do cookbooks for that reason. And I think like being in that tiny apartment and having 20 people on my live stream cooking with me and sharing recipes with 500 people, I could like feel it myself getting excited about it. And it was interesting to like, the only reason I made my Instagram page is because I would post a food video on my story on my personal Instagram. And like random people I went to high school with would be like, oh my God, I love your food stories. You should post more. And I'm like, wait, we still follow each other? That's crazy. And so then I made my account and it was just interesting to see how many people were like excited about it. Like to this day, my mom's friends are still like, bring back Tiny Kitchen Tuesday. And so it's just cool to see people get excited about the same things that I get excited about. And so yeah, it was over once I started doing that.
One thing I personally have loved about your cooking journey and your universe that you're building is there is some really great fashion that comes through in this content. So love the look tonight.
Yeah,
love it so much. Who are we wearing?
Outfit Deets, Oscar de la Renta. They let me borrow it. Don't worry, you guys. That would be kind of crazy. It's a gorgeous shop. And then I forget who makes these little shorts. And then these butter yellow heels are Repetto.
Gorge. And if you had to describe your tour looks upcoming in 3 words, what are we in
Can
for?
I use colors?
You can use colors, you can use sounds, you can use whatever your heart desires.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say the colors because I think butter yellow and blue is like kind of the undertone. Those don't count for 2 of the 3.
Yeah, they don't.
Okay.
They don't.
I think I'm really leaning summery, breezy. A little preppy, I would say that.
I love a dash of prep. Yeah, no, it rounds everything out. It rounds everything out. I feel like so many people here are obviously such huge fans of you. They've kind of watched you on this journey. So I'm really trying to ask like the super hard hitting questions, like what do you order at the Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah. So the Cheesecake Factory is where I got my start in terms of recipe developing. My mom and I would go to the mall. Shout out Short Hills Mall. We're going to be there on in 2 days? 2 days? We would go to the Short Hills Mall, and then after a long day of shopping, we would stop at the Cheesecake Factory before we hit the road. And that's where, also the Cheesecake Factory at Riverside. What's it called? I think it's Riverside Mall. Love them both equally, but I would get the chicken marsala. I was ordering the chicken marsala when I was like 8 years old, and I remember being like, "Mom, you have to make the chicken marsala at home." And she tried to make it at home. She got a really authentic, gorgeous recipe from her friend, and it was the right way to make chicken marsala, but it wasn't the Cheesecake Factory way. And so I was like, "Nah, like this is not gonna work." So that was the first time I ever Googled a recipe. I remember like Mom grabbed the laptop. So we typed into Google Cheesecake Factory chicken marsala recipe. Nothing really came up, but that was like my villain origin story. And then also the avocado egg rolls, obviously.
Is the chicken marsala on the Skinnylicious menu?
No.
You know they have like 7.
I know. I actually got proposed, where they were like, "Will you go to prom with me?" at the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, so I'm a huge fan of like whatever category we're putting the Cheesecake Factory in. I call it just utter glamour.
Yeah, totally.
I didn't realize it had such a huge role
Yes.
in the
It's not
genesis.
a bit. It's not a bit. It's real.
No,
There's strawberry lemonade. Oh my God, it's so good.
And then what's the last place you ordered takeout from?
Oh, we just had Shake Shack in the green room. I got a hot dog, grilled cheese, and a burger.
She got all 3 of those things and gone.
The grilled cheese is really good.
The hot dog, I'm thinking about it.
They had like little pickled peppers on the hot dogs, really good. But then they didn't pack any mustard, which I had.
Shake Shack hot dog sales after this session? Yeah. Grey Goose and Shake Shack.
Grey Goose and Shake Shack.
Hot dog and vodka.
There you go.
Okay, this is fabulous. Well, I have some pop culture trivia questions for you.
Natalie is like the pro at pop culture trivia. She is such a delight. I beg you to tune into the Big Silly. Literally.
Has anyone played the Big Silly trivia game?
Let's go!
Yay!
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's a weekly live pop culture trivia show. We'll come back next month, every Wednesday. Very fabulous.
Yeah.
Very fun. Trivia for the girls. So I know that we have both a big love for Bravo.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Where's my damn card? Oh. Okay. I want these to be gentle because,
She didn't tell me what the questions were before, so I'm really...
Well, part of the way that I like to conduct a trivia game is that you feel good about answering. You're not scratching your brain too hard.
Okay.
It's about the love of answering. Okay. Okay, are you ready for this? Which cast member, this is Real Housewives of New York OG.
Okay.
Which cast member called Alex's shoes Herman Munster shoes?
I think that was Luann.
Ding, bing, bing, ding, ding, ding.
And she goes, they're Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
And then she goes, even Louis Vuitton makes mistakes.
Yes. Oh my God, you know the whole scene. This is great. Whew, okay. Oh, and I think what we're doing right now, we could also call, what do we start with a T? Turtle time. Having a little bit of turtle time up here.
God.
That's kind of what I want the vibe for.
These are so turtle
our
time
tour.
coded.
Yeah, they look like.
We have to do that TikTok. Okay.
It's definitely turtle time.
Wait, I made a shirt in COVID. I tie-dyed a shirt and I put little stickers on it that said turtle time. Okay, continue.
And why are we wearing that? Oh.
I don't know. I forgot.
I think we can implement costume changes
yes.
as the tour develops.
Feather boas.
Yep. Okay, now who said this in a confessional? I was awakened in the night by 2 male voices. One was Luann's.
Oh God. Was this Scary Island? Or no, The Pirate?
It's OG Roni.
Was it Bethany?
Not Bethany. She's one of my favorites. She's very glamorous, super big, beautiful smile.
Okay.
Loves like a Ralph Lauren American flag sweater also, I feel like.
Oh, Kelly Bensimon?
Mm-mm.
Carol
Probably all
Roswell?
Yes.
Of course.
Carol.
Carol.
Fabulous. You still get that one right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I feel these are very Luann-centric, but honestly, she's. Which Roni member famously shouted at Luann, "Life isn't a cabaret"?
Okay, was it Dorinda? Ramona. Dorinda?
Ding, ding, ding.
Wait, Giovanni.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, who's feeling Giovanni tonight?
Who's feeling Giovanni? Wait, you guys, you have to watch Real Housewives New York OG.
Yeah,
please.
it's important.
It's really important for the culture. That's why we're doing this.
I also feel like part of the reason I was so drawn to you is like you can kind of see it in someone's like pores when they watch Bravo.
Yeah.
There's like this secret, I don't know,
I think
animal instinct.
Yeah.
You're like,
my foray into Bravo was watching Vanderpump Rules, and Vanderpump Rules season 1 and 2, I swear to God, are the best seasons of television in existence, and I beg you to watch if you haven't.
they wore these really fabulous, their uniforms were these like tight purple, like those mini dresses.
The silk dresses.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe we could develop something like that that's like wishbone coated, and it's like we have
like
uniforms.
a gingham picnic.
Yeah,
silky,
with name tags. I love it. Those are my 3 Roni questions for you. I'm testing the waters to see, you know, how deep of like cuts we can go.
Okay.
But I also do have some Wishbone kitchen trivia that maybe I can run around and see who can answer it. All right. Where'd you go? All right. Raise your hand if you want to answer the question, and I'm going to come running to you. As long as I can access you. No one up there. Okay.
No one up there.
Okay. What was the name of Meredith's first viral recipe? What was Meredith's first viral recipe?
Wow, this is a hard one.
All right, who do we have here?
Hi, I'm Keegan.
Hey, Keegan.
Hey,
What's
Meredith.
up?
How's it going?
Oh my God.
Was it the beet pink pasta?
It was! The beet and goat cheese pasta!
It sure was. Okay, another question. Who knows the origin of the name Wishbone Kitchen? Who knows? Are you ready? All right. Who do we have here?
Hi, I'm Mika.
Hi. Wait, what's your name?
Mika,
Hi, Mika.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I believe the origin is that like your mom used
Yeah.
to and she would like save the wishbone for you guys.
Yes. And now whenever I go home, she has a bowl of bones for me. That's the story. So my mom would make a roast chicken every week and then save the wishbones from the chicken. And then after dinner, we would make a wish and pull them apart. And now whenever I go home, she has a bunch of bones waiting for me.
A lot of wishes. A lot of wishes. Okay, now this is for those of you who have already cracked into the cookbook and have studied. What are the 4 ingredients? Wow, I feel like I'm in Hogwarts. What are the 4 ingredients that should always be served fresh? There are 4 things that should never be jarred.
That's good.
Yeah. Who can recite the 4 ingredients
It's a deep cut.
that should always be served fresh? I hear the
You can
crumble
also like,
changes.
if it doesn't have to be the 4 in the book. Like if you have an inkling.
I'm coming. Oh, where are we headed?
I'm like, where did I write this?
Hi, I'm Mackenzie.
Hi, Mackenzie.
I think this is right, but herbs,
Yeah,
garlic,
yeah,
cheese,
yeah.
citrus.
Yes! Oh my God! Woo! Wait, I'm like trying to figure out what the answer is, but that's it.
And that is a really good, I bought pre-grated cheese last night and I was looking through the cookbook today and I was like, I probably shouldn't go on tour. But now
It's canceled.
I'm forever changed with those 4 habits. There's also, I think we should review, it's almost an oath of sorts. You have some really good go-to hosting kind of measures.
The menus or the tips?
The menus I'd love to get into, but in the beginning, there's kind of, there's the things that we're always going to do when we're hosting.
Is that?
It was in the beginning,
Oh, okay.
the one I love.
What are we talking about?
Maybe it was the basics. Where is
Yeah. Oh, the basics, like the kitchen basics, like the tools and stuff?
Yeah.
Take the wheel. Like where, this one?
Yeah, I think that one.
Telling people.
Oh, yeah, some basics. Oh, I guess that's kind
That
of
was
our
it.
4 rules.
Salt
to
your
live by.
pasta water. That's another one. But yeah, the menu section has a bunch of like hosting tips, which I love. Should we get into the pasta party?
I want to get into the pasta party. One of my favorite parts of the cookbook is that you've curated these menus at the end. You guys saw at the end of the book. It's very fabulous because making a menu is no joke. So let's look at the pasta party.
Okay, so I've picked a menu to go over for every tour stop, and since we're in New York, of course, I wanted to go with a pasta party here. We also have, oh wow, I'm now remembering more recipes that are inspired by New York City dishes. Fabulous. Okay, growing up in New Jersey, Italian food was always super prevalent, even though my family is not even a lick of Italian. But it's just like the vibes. And so for that reason, I'm gonna go with the pasta party for today's menu to review. Here we go.
Everyone, please turn to page, what is that, 276?
276, please, if you would like a visual. The pasta party menu includes a Lambrusco Negroni, which is like a regular Negroni, but instead of sweet vermouth, we replace it with sweet Lambrusco, and it's fizzy and kind of like the summer version of a Negroni, because I feel like Negroni kind of leans like wintry. And then we've got the ricotta with fried garlic, which is lovely. The Italian chopped salad is kind of like an elevated version of like your regular pizza parlor chopped salad with like the ham and stuff. Except instead of like ham and salami, it's prosciutto. We've got some beans in there. I don't like chickpeas, and I know chickpeas are usually in a chopped salad. I don't love a chickpea. I don't like the shape of them. It really weirds me out. That's actually the one food I think I would say is one I don't like.
They do look like little brains a bit.
Yeah, they like, if I look at them too long, and then sometimes the bottoms are like really pointy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it. So instead of chickpeas, I have canned cannellini beans.
Yeah.
And then
one of the best beans.
One of the best beans. And then lots of fresh basil. And then for more apps, we've got the roasted broccoli with caper butter, which is basically like chicken piccata, but with broccoli.
Delish.
Fabulous. The broccoli cavatelli was inspired by my favorite pasta dish as a child, which was broccoli cavatelli. But instead of just like the broccoli and everything being whole, we blend it up into like a little pesto-y saucy sauce. Hides the broccoli, hides your veg. And then we've got the pink lemon pasta, which was inspired by two New York City dishes. The lemon pasta from Little Frankie's.
A classic.
And then the pink peppercorns on top is inspired by the Malfaldini at Missy. Yeah. With the pink peppercorns on top. Fabulous, so much butter, so much cheese. I actually made that for dinner the other night. The bucatini and meatballs is like my swan song because spaghetti and meatballs has been my favorite food since I was a child.
I do love that when we're texting and talking about spaghetti, you abbreviate it to spag. And I've never seen that before, and now that I've seen it,
because I was like, you know, when you're thinking faster than you're texting, and I was just like the spag and this and that.
My brain was like,
I needed to get all the information out.
No, I love it.
Yeah, the bucatini and meatballs I love. It has ricotta in the meatball, and then I like to top a bowl of the spaghetti and meatballs with another dollop of ricotta, kind of like almost like a sour cream moment, but not.
There's nothing that a big dollop of something.
A dollop of cold dairy on top of a warm dish really gets me there.
I was searching for the words.
And then the olive oil cake with peaches and cream. And the glory of that dish is that the fruit can be replaced with any fruit that's in season. So you really just toss the fruit with a little bit of sugar. In this case, it's peaches, but you could do strawberries or you could do pears, like whatever season you're in. The inspiration for that cake came from, I don't know who else grew up eating angel food cake from the grocery store with the Ready Whip and strawberries. Yep. Classic. That was my favorite dessert as a kid because I didn't really like chocolate. And so this is kind of like my ode to angel food cake.
Your grown-up angel food cake.
There we go.
Speaking of being grown up,
speaking of
having a cookbook, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Take us from the moment, I mean, you've always wanted to have a cookbook, but when did those first stages start? Kind of from like, let's do this thing to now we're sitting together talking about the thing.
Yeah, I've had it in my mind for a while that I wanted to do cookbooks, and I wasn't consciously making recipes for a book per se. Like the tomato galette I made in my parents' house, again, at that time when I had 500 followers, And it's just a recipe that's stuck with me through the ups and downs, and now she's on the cover. So, the inception of the book has kind of always been going on ever since the days at the Cheesecake Factory. But it formally started when I got connected with my editor, Molly, who's here today. Hi, Molly. We started on this book July 2022, 2023, 2020. How many years ago? 2 years ago. 2 summers ago. It's not last summer, the summer before last. And that's when we formally started working on the book and, picking out the chapters and stuff. But it was definitely not like a linear process. It was kind of like because I had a million ideas and didn't exactly know which ones we wanted to go with. And I'd never written a book before. So I kind of felt like I wrote 2 books in some way, but it all came together somehow, some way.
I mean, I'm so impressed by everything that you do. I think it's so incredible to see.
Thanks.
It's also so fun to root someone on that I feel like you kind of watch from the beginning, and I think that's what makes Meredith so special, one of the many ways. I think you have a superpower, and people see themselves in you, and they've also been a part of this journey for so long. And it's just a massive, massive congratulations to you. I'm going to be cooking more. And I think we have also time for some audience Q&A.
Yes.
I will be scampering around and handing off mics. And if you are up there,
You could just reach.
yeah.
Yeah.
How are your knees?
I was gonna say maybe we can get an announcement.
Yeah, we can make it work. We can make it work.
I don't know
So let's do some Q&A for Miss Meredith. All right. Here I go.
I was looking for my phone.
And then introduce yourself and then ask a question.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Emma.
Hi, Emma.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I was just wondering, what was one of the toughest recipes to develop, and
Uh-huh.
why didn't you give up on it?
Oh, wow. That's such a good question because there are some that I had to make like so many times. Oh. I was just saying this to somebody. Maybe it was a short rib bolognese. I have to like jog my memory. The short rib bolognese is one of my favorite recipes, and I did do a couple of attempts at it because I wanted to make a bolognese that was also a short rib pasta dish that went in the oven, and I wanted it to be saucy, but I didn't want it to be too loose because it was going to be a pasta thing. I just had a vision, and I was like really getting stubborn with it. But there are some recipes that I like had to cut my losses and give up. Hopefully they'll be in book number 2. It's just like time was running out. I couldn't go back. But I think that was one that I made a bunch. There's definitely one I'm forgetting, and if I remember, I'll post it on my story because like there is one that took a really long time. I don't remember.
I'm amazed at what you can do with meats and pasta.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You little lamb. Hello.
Hi, I'm Anastasia.
Hi.
I was wondering what the first recipe was that made it into the book or that you wrote, and what was the last one?
Okay, it was definitely the tomato galette. That was like our hero of the book. The last recipe? Oh my God, I don't remember. Like, Molly, do you remember? It might have been one of the beverages or one of the, yeah, I would say it was a beverage. No, I'm like flipping through. It was probably, I would say the ranch water. And I think I almost didn't put it in because it felt like a no recipe to me. My sister-in-law is from Dallas, Texas. And now my brother and her live in Houston. They've lived there for almost 10 years now. And ranch waters are a big thing down in Texas. I don't know if you're familiar. It's a Topo Chico, which is a bottle of sparkling mineral water that you have to have thoroughly chilled. You take a sip out of it, you pour a shot of tequila in there, and that's a ranch water. But my take on a ranch water is a spicy, salty ranch water that has not only tequila, but also fresh squeezed lime juice and grated jalapeno to make it like spicy on the inside. And then you like coat it in tahini on the outside. And it's quite fabulous. But you have to have Topo Chicos. You can't just like do a vodka soda and call it a ranch water, unfortunately. So yeah.
Craving. Okay. Hi there.
Hi, I'm Shira.
Hi.
So I work at Macy's in the housewares division. So my question is a little bit about like what you use in the kitchen, what some of your favorite cookware brands are, some of your favorite kitchen electrics, and then where you get inspiration for your tabletop.
Okay, my favorite tools are actually in the front of the book, not to be like, refer to the book. But yeah, no, you can read in detail, but my favorite tools are definitely sheet pans. I love having multiple sheet pans and also multiple different sizes. My favorite brand, I think, is Nordic Ware. I get it on Amazon. And I like to get a bunch of half sheets, quarter sheets. They're really great for organizing ingredients. So if I'm making a bunch of different dishes, I'll put all the ingredients for one dish on one sheet pan, and then all the ingredients for another dish on another sheet pan. And that just kind of like keeps me focused. And then I also love a microplane. I love microplaning citrus, garlic, frozen jalapeno. And one of my favorite brands, I would say, is OXO. I don't know how to like say that fancy, but I love they have like really good quality tools. And of course, Le Creuset and All Clad are my favorite pans. And then inspo for tabletop, I feel like my mantra with tabletop is to get a really good like base that you can dress up for every season. So whether it's a white tablecloth and then neutral placemats, and then you can fold in winter accessories for wintertime and then throw some tomatoes on there for summer. I really like to pull from the elements for tabletop. Yeah.
Making my way down here. Hi there.
Hi. My name's Marina.
Hi.
This may be a silly question, but do you think you learned more from your mom's kitchen or culinary school?
Oh, that's so hard. My mom's here.
Sorry.
Sorry. I definitely learned more from culinary school. They like really put you through it. Like we have tests and stuff. But I think I get more inspiration from my mom's kitchen and my mom's cooking. Like there are more recipes in here inspired by my mom's cooking, but I would say like the techniques are definitely, and also just like the mindset going into cooking large meals, I learned from culinary school and from being a private chef.
Get your hands up. We got two more. This is so hard.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Savannah.
Hi.
And I saw on your Instagram stories that you've been watching a lot of Vintage Martha.
Oh my God, yes.
I wish I've been watching are you watching on her app or on?
Oh, Roku.
Roku? Okay, I was gonna ask.
Roku, you can stream for free, not an
It's
ad.
free on Roku. But you can, I like her app. She does playlists. And she
Oh.
does Easter playlists.
Wait,
Like,
what's the app? Martha Stewart?
Living.
Oh, okay, done. The spike on the App Store is going to be out of control.
And Martha, if you're watching, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. When I watch Vintage Martha,
Yeah.
I'm so struck by how homemaking was so different just a few decades ago in the 90s
Mhm.
versus now. So what are some kinds of things along that thought process that strike you when watching Vintage Martha that you incorporate into your recipes today
Totally.
or your home ideas today?
It's so funny you said that because we were literally watching Vintage Martha last night at my parents' house. And I said to my mom, it's so funny whenever I see her do a craft or something, I like think, oh my gosh, we had that at my house growing up. And I think something that strikes me the most was how everything was semi-homemade. So whether it be like a pine cone garland or getting leaves from a magnolia tree in the backyard and using them for a wreath. I know like not everyone has a magnolia tree, but there wasn't as much like, oh, I'm gonna order that on Amazon. And I think incorporating the handmade element makes you feel a little bit more closer to the pieces and they make them a little bit more special. So I'm really looking forward to doing more of that in the summer / when I have 2 working legs. But yeah, I think like just working with my hands and being able to kind of be one with the elements, someone might say, makes me feel like so like when I go outside and I pick a hydrangea off the bush, I'm like, oh my God, farm to table. So yeah, I think that watching Vintage Martha really inspired me to kind of like go outside and like look at the trees a little differently. I'm like, that would make a good centerpiece. Yeah.
Yay. One more.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Adelaide,
been a moment in your career that has felt sort of like an I've made it moment?
Oh my gosh, someone asked me this the other day and I was like, right now? I truly, like right now, like seeing everybody here, because like social media is just numbers on a phone and it's hard to conceptualize until like the book tour tickets sold out in 24 hours. And I was like, stop, everybody wants to come see, that's so crazy. So I think this has been that moment for me. And it's still kind of happening, but yeah, it's just also exciting. I don't know, this, like truly this moment has been so much more impactful than like a viral video ever will be. So I just thank you guys all for coming out. It's really special. Oh. Well, I think, yeah, what time is it? Oh, uh-oh. We're almost out of time.
Also, thank you all for skipping the Met and being here with us.
Yes, thank you so much. It's so brave.
This is so amazing.
After 4 nights of Fridays at bar cake.
Yeah, we've had busy schedules. Cheers,
The Brad Green drinks.
Yeah, bratty drinks.
Thank you all again so much
Wait,
for coming out.
I want to take a selfie with all of us. Everybody get in. Okay. Say Wishbone.
Say Wishbone. Wishbone.
Thanks, you guys. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Seriously.
Thank you all for coming out and have a great rest of your night.
Thank you all.